Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Native Speakers Channel. I'm Sarah, and I'm so excited you're here with us today. Whether you're just starting your English learning journey or looking to expand your vocabulary, you're in the right place. We've got a fantastic conversation lined up for you.
Thanks, Sarah. Hey, everyone. I'm Johnny. Today, we're going to dive into a super important topic that affects all of us every single day. We're talking about health vocabulary and having natural English conversations about health and wellness. This is going to be really practical because you'll use these words and phrases all the time in real life. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's get started.
I love this topic, Johnny. Health is something everyone talks about, right? Whether you're at the doctor's office, chatting with friends at the gym, or even just talking about how you're feeling today.
Exactly. And you know what? I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I woke up feeling a bit under the weather, and I realized how many specific words we use in English just to describe how we feel physically.
Oh no! Are you feeling better now? What do you mean by under the weather? That's actually a great expression for our learners.
I'm feeling much better today, thanks. And yes, under the weather is a really common idiom in English. It means you're feeling sick or not quite yourself, but it's not super serious. Like, you might have a headache or feel tired, but you're not seriously ill. For example, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, so I think I'll stay home and rest.
That's perfect. It's much more natural than saying, I am sick all the time. We have so many ways to express how we feel in English. Sometimes I tell people, I'm not feeling well, or I'm feeling off today.
Right, and those are all slightly different in meaning. I'm not feeling well is pretty general. I'm feeling off suggests something isn't quite right, but you can't put your finger on exactly what it is. Maybe you just have low energy or you feel a bit strange.
This brings up a good point about going to the doctor. Johnny, when was the last time you had a checkup?
Oh, I actually had my annual checkup about 2 months ago. My doctor said I'm in good health overall, but she recommended that I should exercise more regularly and watch my diet a bit more carefully.
That's great advice. Let's break down that sentence for our learners because there's so much useful vocabulary there. First, annual checkup. This means a regular health examination that you have once a year, even when you're not sick. It's preventative care.
Good point. And in good health is a nice way to say someone is healthy. You could also say healthy, but in good health sounds a bit more formal and complete. Then I mentioned exercise regularly. That means to work out or do physical activity on a consistent schedule, like 3 times a week or every day.
And watch my diet means to pay attention to what you eat, usually to make healthier choices. It doesn't necessarily mean going on a strict diet, just being more mindful about food.
Exactly. Speaking of diet, what does a healthy diet look like to you, Sarah?
Well, I try to eat a balanced diet with plenty of fruits and vegetables. I aim for at least 5 servings of fruits and veggies every day. I also try to eat whole grains instead of refined grains, like brown rice instead of white rice, or whole wheat bread instead of white bread.
Those are excellent choices. Let me explain some of that vocabulary. A balanced diet means eating a variety of different foods from all the food groups in the right proportions. You need carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals.
And servings, that's an important word. A serving is a measured amount of food. For example, 1 serving of vegetables might be 1 cup of leafy greens or half a cup of cooked vegetables.
Right. And you mentioned whole grains versus refined grains. Whole grains contain the entire grain kernel, so they have more fiber and nutrients. Refined grains have been processed to remove parts of the grain, so they have less nutritional value.
Nutrition is so important. Let's talk about some other health habits. Do you take any vitamins or supplements, Johnny?
I do, actually. I take a multivitamin every morning with breakfast, And during the winter months, I also take vitamin D because we don't get as much sunlight. My doctor also recommended that I take fish oil supplements for heart health.
That's smart. Let me explain supplements for our learners. Supplements are products you take in addition to your regular diet to make sure you're getting enough nutrients. They come in different forms, like pills, capsules, tablets, or even gummies.
Good explanation. And heart health refers to the condition and functioning of your heart and cardiovascular system. Taking care of your heart health is crucial because heart disease is one of the leading causes of death worldwide.
That's so true. Speaking of which, let's talk about common health problems that people experience. What are some of the most common illnesses you hear people complaining about?
Well, the common cold is probably number one. It seems like everyone gets a cold at least once or twice a year. The symptoms usually include a runny nose, sneezing, coughing, and a sore throat.
Yes, and let's break down those symptoms. A runny nose means mucus is dripping from your nose. Sneezing is when air suddenly bursts out of your nose and mouth. Coughing is when you force air out of your lungs through your throat, usually because something is irritating your airways.
Perfect descriptions. Another really common problem is the flu, or influenza. It's more serious than a cold. When you have the flu, you typically have a high fever, body aches, extreme fatigue, and sometimes nausea.
The flu can really knock you out. Knock you out is another informal expression, meaning to make you very weak or tired. When I had the flu last year, I was in bed for almost a week.
That sounds awful. Did you go see a doctor?
I did. I called my doctor's office and made an appointment. The receptionist asked me about my symptoms over the phone, and they squeezed me in that same day because I sounded so sick.
Let's talk about that process because it's really useful for learners. When you need to see a doctor, you first need to make an appointment or schedule an appointment. This means you call the office and arrange a time to come in.
Right. And I said, they squeezed me in. That's an informal way to say they found time for me in their busy schedule, even though they didn't have regular openings available.
So what happened when you got to the doctor's office?
Well, first I had to check in at the front desk and show my insurance card. Then I sat in the waiting room until a nurse called my name. The nurse took me to an examination room and checked my vital signs.
Vital signs, that's important medical vocabulary. Vital signs are the basic measurements that show how your body is functioning. They include your temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, and respiratory rate.
Exactly. The nurse took my temperature with a thermometer. I had a fever of 102 degrees Fahrenheit. She also checked my blood pressure using a blood pressure cuff, and she counted my pulse.
Let me explain those terms. Your temperature is how hot your body is. Normal body temperature is around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. A fever means your temperature is higher than normal, usually because your body is fighting an infection.
And blood pressure measures the force of blood against your artery walls. It's written as two numbers, like 120/80. Pulse is another word for heart rate. It's how many times your heart beats per minute.
So after the nurse checked your vitals, then what happened?
The doctor came in and asked me about my symptoms. I explained that I had a high fever, body aches, headache, and felt extremely tired. She asked when the symptoms started and if I had been around anyone else who was sick.
Those are typical questions doctors ask. They're trying to figure out what's wrong. We call this diagnosing the problem. The diagnosis is the identification of what illness or condition you have.
Right. Then she examined me. She looked in my ears with an otoscope, looked at my throat, and listened to my lungs with a stethoscope.
Let me define those medical instruments. An otoscope is a device with a light that doctors use to look inside your ears. A stethoscope is that thing doctors wear around their necks. It amplifies sound so they can listen to your heart and lungs.
After examining me, she confirmed that I had the flu. She wrote me a prescription for antiviral medication and told me to get plenty of rest and drink lots of fluids.
Okay, important vocabulary here. A prescription is a written order from a doctor for medicine. You take the prescription to a pharmacy or drugstore, and the pharmacist gives you the medication. Antiviral medication is medicine that fights viral infections.
And fluids just means liquids, water, juice, tea, soup, broth. Staying hydrated is really important when you're sick because it helps your body fight the infection.
Absolutely. And hydrated means having enough water in your body. The opposite is dehydrated, which means you don't have enough water, and that can make you feel worse.
The doctor also recommended that I take over-the-counter pain relievers for the fever and aches.
Over-the-counter, or OTC, means medicine you can buy without a prescription. Common examples are acetaminophen, ibuprofen, and aspirin for pain and fever. The opposite would be prescription medication, which requires a doctor's order.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about staying healthy, not just dealing with illness. What do you do to stay fit, Johnny?
I try to work out at least 4 times a week. I usually do a combination of cardio and strength training. On Mondays and Thursdays, I go for a run or use the elliptical machine for 30 minutes. On Tuesdays and Fridays, I lift weights and do some body weight exercises.
That's a solid routine. Let me break that down for our learners. Work out means to exercise. Cardio is short for cardiovascular exercise, activities that get your heart rate up, like running, cycling, or swimming. It's great for your heart and lungs.
Strength training means exercises that build muscle strength, like lifting weights or using resistance bands. Body weight exercises are exercises where you use your own body weight as resistance, like push-ups, squats, and planks.
I love yoga and Pilates. I find they're great for flexibility and core strength. Plus, they help reduce stress, which is important for mental health.
That's a great point. Flexibility means how easily you can bend and stretch. Core strength refers to the muscles in your abdomen, back, and pelvis. These muscles are important for balance and stability.
And we shouldn't forget about mental health. It's just as important as physical health. I try to practice mindfulness and meditation to reduce stress and anxiety.
Mental health is so important. Mindfulness means being present and aware in the current moment without judgment. Meditation is a practice where you focus your mind and eliminate distracting thoughts, usually to achieve calmness and clarity.
Stress is such a big problem in modern life. What are some signs that someone might be too stressed?
Good question. Common signs of stress include headaches, trouble sleeping, feeling irritable or anxious, muscle tension, and changes in appetite, either eating too much or too little.
Irritable means easily annoyed or angered. Anxious means feeling worried or nervous. And muscle tension is when your muscles feel tight and uncomfortable, often in your neck, shoulders, or back.
If stress becomes too much, it can lead to burnout. That's when you feel physically and emotionally exhausted and overwhelmed.
That's serious. What can people do to manage stress better?
There are lots of strategies. Regular exercise is one of the best stress relievers. Getting enough sleep is crucial. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours per night. Eating a healthy diet helps too. And it's important to make time for hobbies and activities you enjoy.
Social connections are important as well. Spending time with friends and family can really boost your mood and help you feel supported.
Absolutely. And if stress or anxiety becomes overwhelming, it's important to seek professional help. There's no shame in talking to a therapist or counselor.
Therapist or counselor, these are mental health professionals who help people work through emotional and psychological issues. Therapy can be incredibly helpful for managing stress, anxiety, depression, and many other challenges.
Let's talk about some other aspects of health. How important is sleep to you, Sarah?
Oh, sleep is crucial. I try to get at least 7.5 hours every night. When I don't get enough sleep, I feel groggy the next day, and I have trouble concentrating.
Groggy. That's a great word. It means feeling sleepy, confused, and not fully awake. When you're groggy, everything feels harder and slower.
Yes, and concentrating means focusing your attention on something. Lack of sleep definitely affects your ability to concentrate and make decisions.
Sleep hygiene is really important too.
Sleep hygiene, that's not about being clean. It refers to the habits and practices that help you sleep well, like keeping your bedroom cool and dark, avoiding screens before bed, and going to bed at the same time each night.
Exactly. I used to look at my phone right before bed, and I noticed it was harder to fall asleep. Now, I try to stop using screens at least an hour before bedtime.
That's smart. The blue light from screens can interfere with your body's natural sleep cycle. Speaking of which, have you ever had trouble sleeping, like insomnia?
Insomnia is when you have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. I've had occasional bouts of insomnia, usually when I'm stressed about something. It's frustrating because you lie in bed tired, but unable to sleep.
I've experienced that too. When that happens, what do you do?
I try not to just lie there tossing and turning. If I can't fall asleep after 20 minutes, I get up and do something relaxing, like reading a book or listening to calm music. Then I try again when I feel sleepy.
That's good advice. Tossing and turning means moving around restlessly in bed. It's a sign you're having trouble sleeping.
Let's talk about preventive care. What do you do to prevent getting sick, Sarah?
Well, I wash my hands frequently, especially before eating and after being in public places. I got my flu shot this year, and I try to avoid touching my face, since that's how a lot of germs enter your body.
Those are all excellent practices. A flu shot is a vaccine that helps you protect you from getting the flu. Germs is a general term for microorganisms like bacteria and viruses that can cause illness.
Right. And when your immune system is strong, you're less likely to get sick. But when it's weak or compromised, you're more vulnerable to infections.
Let's talk about injuries now. Have you ever had any serious injuries, Sarah?
I sprained my ankle once while hiking. It was really painful. I twisted it on an uneven part of the trail, and immediately it started swelling up.
Ouch. A sprain is when you stretch or tear a ligament. Ligaments are the tissues that connect bones to each other. Swelling means the area becomes enlarged and puffy because fluid builds up there.
Yeah, it was not fun. I had to use ice to reduce the swelling, and I kept my foot elevated. I also wrapped it with an elastic bandage for support.
Elevated means raised up. When you elevate an injured body part, you keep it raised above the level of your heart, which helps reduce swelling. And the elastic bandage or compression wrap provides support and also helps with swelling.
I also had to use crutches for a few days because I couldn't put weight on my ankle.
Crutches are supports that help you walk when you've injured your leg or foot. You lean on them with your arms to take the weight off your injured leg. Have you ever broken a bone?
Thankfully, no. But my brother broke his arm when we were kids. He got to get a cast put on, and he wore it for about 6 weeks.
A cast is a hard covering, usually made of plaster or fiberglass, that immobilizes a broken bone so it can heal properly. Immobilizes means to prevent from moving.
after the bone healed, he had to do physical therapy to regain strength and range of motion in his arm.
Physical therapy, or physiotherapy, is treatment that uses exercises and other techniques to help people recover from injuries or surgery. A physical therapist is a healthcare professional who specializes in this type of rehabilitation.
Let's talk about dental health, too. That's an important part of overall health that people sometimes neglect.
Great point. I go to the dentist twice a year for cleanings and checkups. The dental hygienist cleans my teeth and checks for cavities.
Dental hygienist is a professional who cleans teeth and educates patients about oral health. A cavity is a hole in your tooth caused by decay. If you have a cavity, the dentist needs to fill it.
I had a cavity filled last year. The dentist numbed my mouth with local anesthesia, then drilled out the decay and filled the hole with a special material. Anesthesia is medication that prevents you from feeling pain. Local anesthesia numbs just a specific area, while general anesthesia puts you completely asleep for surgery.
Dental health is really about prevention. Brushing your teeth twice a day, flossing daily, and limiting sugary foods and drinks can prevent most dental problems.
Flossing means cleaning between your teeth with dental floss, that thin string that removes food particles and plaque from areas your toothbrush can't reach.
Plaque is a sticky film of bacteria that forms on your teeth.
Let's talk about chronic conditions. These are long-term health conditions that need ongoing management. Do you know anyone with a chronic condition? My uncle has diabetes. He has to monitor his blood sugar levels regularly and take medication to keep them under control.
Diabetes is a chronic condition where your body can't properly regulate blood sugar. Blood sugar, or blood glucose, is the amount of sugar in your bloodstream. People with diabetes need to be careful about what they eat and often need medication or insulin.
Right. And my grandmother has high blood pressure, also called hypertension. She takes medication daily and watches her salt intake.
Blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against artery walls. High blood pressure means this force is too strong, which can damage your heart and blood vessels over time if not controlled.
These chronic conditions require regular monitoring and management. That's why it's so important to see your doctor regularly and follow their treatment plan.
Absolutely. Taking your medication as prescribed is crucial. As prescribed means exactly how the doctor ordered, the right dose at the right times.
We've covered so much today, from common illnesses to injuries, from fitness to mental health, from preventive care to chronic conditions. This vocabulary is so practical because everyone deals with health issues at some point.
I agree. And remember, when you're talking about your health in English, it's okay to be specific about how you're feeling. Don't be shy about describing your symptoms clearly. It helps doctors help you better.
And one more important point. Always ask questions if you don't understand something your doctor or healthcare provider tells you. Your health is too important to leave anything unclear.
That's excellent advice. Whether it's asking, can you explain what this medication does, or what are the side effects I should watch for, or when should I start feeling better? These questions are all important.
Side effects, that's important vocabulary. Side effects are unintended effects that a medication might cause in addition to its intended benefit. For example, some medicines might make you drowsy or cause an upset stomach.
Before we wrap up, let's do a quick review of some key phrases for talking about health. If someone asks, "How are you feeling?" you can say, "I'm feeling great," or "I'm not feeling well," or "I'm feeling a bit under the weather."
If you need to describe symptoms, you can say, I have a headache, my throat is sore, I've been coughing, I feel nauseous, or I'm running a fever.
When talking about healthy habits, you might say, I exercise regularly, I eat a balanced diet, I try to get enough sleep, or I drink plenty of water.
And for medical appointments, useful phrases include, I'd like to make an appointment, what are my symptoms, what do you recommend, and how often should I take this medication?
This has been such a comprehensive conversation. I hope our learners have picked up lots of useful vocabulary and feel more confident talking about health topics in English.
Me too. Remember, the best way to learn this vocabulary is to use it in real conversations. Practice describing how you're feeling, talk about your health habits, and don't be afraid to use these new words and phrases.
And if you found this helpful, please subscribe to Native Speakers channel for more conversations like this one. We cover all kinds of topics to help you improve your English naturally.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and keep practicing your English.
See you next time. Stay well.